This is the Firestorm Show with your host, Philip Pelto.
What's up, Firestormers? Welcome to another episode of the Firestorm Show. We are here today with Michael Watkins of the Alchemy Group, right?
That's correct, yes.
Cool. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great to have you.
Appreciate it.
So I wanted to ask you a little bit more about your business, and tell me what you're up to.
So historically, the Alchemy Group has supported frontline managers.
Okay.
Yesterday, I was an individual contributor. Today, I'm a frontline manager, and I fail 85% of the time because I haven't been trained. But we're morphing a little bit into what I call scaling to exit.
Okay.
And it's for baby boomer-owned companies that are going to be exiting in the next 3 to 5 years.
Nice.
And all the things that go along with that. We talk about 5 pillars, really. There's sales, marketing, operations, finance, and then my favorite, the development of the management team around training and development of managers and leaders.
Nice. That's awesome. And there's a ton of baby boomer owned companies that are looking to kind of cash out, and that was their nest egg, right?
What's frightening is there's going to be about 4 million of them hitting the market at the same time, and statistically they have a less than a 20% chance of successfully exiting their business.
Oh, wow.
But for 90% of them, all of their retirement is tied up in their business.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So, I've run into a few people that do similar stuff. What's some ways that you sort of set yourself apart from, your competition, if you have any?
Yeah, I think we have 2 really key differentiators. The first differentiator is a role that I call the corporate development role.
Okay.
And then the second differentiator is what we call our fractional C-suite.
Okay.
And so small to medium-sized businesses need a chief marketing officer, they need a chief operations officer, they need a chief financial officer. They just don't need them full-time. They need a fraction of one. And so we're going to bring a fractional C-suite to each one of our engagements, and then the corporate development role will manage those fractional C-suite resources so the business owner doesn't have to.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, with that, you've obviously, kind of got a team that you've put together of people that you can bring in to help in those roles. You've been a part of Firestorm for a little while. Has that helped you in, putting together that team and, finding inroads to other people? It's
almost not fair, the talent that I've been able to avail myself of within my own Firestorm group.
Nice.
My CFO, my CMO, my legal counsel, have a couple of people with some operational experience. I have a CIO coming out of my group, so it's just been fantastic to be introduced to that group, participate in that group, and then have them buy into the vision for the next phase of my company.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Yeah.
And one thing I wanted to just make a note of that I didn't tell you I was going to say, but I got a copy of your book, and I don't know if this is going to be available to everybody. Can we talk about this?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. So
yes.
On Amazon?
It's on Amazon, and it's called Scaling to Exit.
Okay.
And it lays out the entire process for scaling your company to exit as opposed to growing. Because if you have to double your revenue, that's a long road to hoe. But if you can scale your business, you can double the valuation.
That's awesome. And actually, sorry, one last thing, just selfish, kind of questions that pop into my head. Like when you're thinking about the valuation and potentially exiting, if you're a baby boomer and you're getting to that point, is there a rule of thumb as far as the multiplier that you get, or?
Well, I think there's 2 rules of thumbs. First, the multiplier is typically 3 to 4 times your net profit or your EBITDA, earnings before interest, taxes, depreciation. That's one rule of thumb. The second rule of thumb is if you're going to double your valuation, it's going to take you about 2 or 3 years. And if you start now, it'll take 2 or 3 years.
Nice.
If you wait 2 or 3 years, it's going to take you 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm encouraging potential clients to start now.
That's awesome. Well, this is super fascinating. I think we could talk a lot longer, but I think that's all the time we have for now. So thank you guys for joining us. It was a pleasure to have Michael on, and I'll put a link to the book in the comments or the description of the video, and check it out on Amazon, I assume. So,
yes.
And we'll see you next time. Cheers.